The funny thing about your flying fox is it is extraordinarily misunderstood. In fact, when I look through some of the things that people believe about flying foxes, I realise that I believe all of those things as well. Ben Dessen is a conservationist. He joins us from Sydney Wildlife. Ben, good morning.
Good morning, Paul. How are you?
I'm well. You've brought Jesse James?
No, Jamie.
Jesse James.
This is Jamie.
Jamie's there.
Yeah.
I just want to say, I learnt something this morning reading about these flying foxes, which I didn't know before, and this is a fantastic thing. And this is a question you can ask when you go to work, ask your friends, why do flying foxes hang upside down? And you think sometimes, you know, there must be some scientific reason for it, must be really clever, but it's actually very basic. Why is it?
It's very energy efficient because they can just hang upside down and it doesn't take a lot of energy just to hang out, so to speak.
Stupid birds stand on their feet. Right? Why would you do that when you're defying gravity? Flying foxes are so smart. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through the myths about flying foxes.
Sounds good.
The most common myths. Flying foxes are dirty.
They're actually incredibly clean animals, and they can spend hours and hours each day grooming themselves. So they're really clean.
They are pests and they serve no purpose.
Flying foxes are actually critical for our environment. Without flying foxes, we would lose our forests because they basically disperse the seeds and they disperse the pollen of the flowers that they eat in their poos. Yeah, so without them, no forests.
OK, next myth, they're blind.
They've got incredibly good eyesight, and they've actually got eyesight 20 times better than a person's. So they see a lot better than we do.
All right, they are riddled with disease.
They're incredibly clean animals, and they don't carry very many diseases, no more diseases than any other wildlife species would.
OK, they are currently in plague numbers and it's getting worse every year.
Yeah, basically flying foxes live in big camps, sometimes hundreds of animals in a single camp, so they can give the appearance of them being in plague proportions, but they're actually in a critical decline and they're now a threatened species.
They're actually endangered, aren't they?
They are, yeah, threatened species at the moment.
About 500,000 of them left.
That's it. Yeah, we've wiped out, you know,
I mean, it sounds like plenty to me, but it's not very many, and the numbers are going down all the time.
Absolutely.
Flying foxes dropping strip paint from cars and houses.
Bird droppings, which is a lot more birds around than flying foxes, are actually a lot more acidic than bat poo. So if you just give your car a hose down, you'll be fine.
So why is it, do you think, because those are the most common myths, which you have just dispelled. Why is it, do you think, that people hold so much misinformation about these things?
I think they've just got a bit of an image problem. You know, people are always taught in the media that flying foxes are a pest and there's something to be feared, but they're actually incredible creatures, and like I said, without them, our environment would be in a pretty bad way.
And there is a tourism aspect to it as well, because speaking as someone who isn't a native Australian, you know, they are quite cool. And people come here and you know you're in a tropical country when they swoop over, and we've got pictures at the moment. That is quite cool. But they have caused problems in certain communities, and communities have sought the right to eradicate them, haven't they?
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, I mean, a lot of governments and stuff do have these eradication programs, and there's one going on in Sydney at the moment in the Botanical Gardens because they see them as a pest.
All right, well, Jesse James, or Jamie as we're now calling him, is one of those flying foxes which has come into strife. He's going to eat. He's going to eat.
Good boy.
Look at him, he's fantastic. Anyway, he's come into strife on a sort of a fence or a wire or something like that.
So this, in people's backyards, fruit netting is probably one of the biggest issues for bats because they'll throw this over their fruit trees. The bats obviously come down to the enticing fruit and they get themselves tangled up in this, and that's actually what happened to Jamie. And his wings were so badly damaged from this fruit netting that he's unable to be released. So he's now an education animal.
Look at him chewing with his little hand.
That's it.
So he'll never be able to fly again.
He can't fly anymore. So what we have to stress to people is if you are going to put fruit netting over your trees, make it taut, put it over a frame so that it's not just hanging loosely, because that's when it becomes an issue for the bats.
Ben, if people want to attract, and I mean it's a good thing to attract them into your garden, if they want to do that, what are the best ways you can attract them?
Planting trees, so bottlebrush, grevillea, any sort of native flowers are good because they basically eat the nectar from those blossoms. So plant your backyard full of trees.
Obviously grapevines would be good too.
They love their fruit, yeah.
And if people find injured ones, because I know the baby will, they have one child a year, don't they? One baby.
That's it.
Which clings to their side, here he comes, which clings to their stomach, basically until they can't carry them anymore. Often at this time, you will maybe find them lying on the ground. What should people do? Best
not to touch it and call your local wildlife rescue organisation. And it is bat breeding season now, so there are babies everywhere. We've got up to 100 babies in care at the moment in our organisation.
Are you allowed to keep them as pets? You're not, are you?
Unfortunately, no.
No. But how would people know?
You need to be vaccinated if you're going to handle them, so best to call you.
Of course, they're so riddled with disease.
We know that's not true now.
Yeah, we know that's not true, Ben. Thank you very much. But you don't have to be vaccinated before you touch a dog or a goldfish, do you? But you do before. I reckon they'd be a fantastic pet. Fantastic wedding present.
They're beautiful, beautiful creatures.
They're a little bit on the pongy side.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Do you really think?
It's an acquired taste.
You can't smell that? Urine smell?
No.
I think it's
That's
Paul.
me. All right. Ben, thank you so much for joining us. It's always a pleasure talking to you. Ben Dessen, conservationist. I wouldn't mind one of those. And like I say, how would they know?
God, I'd tell them where you lived.